So anyway, I obviously came straight from work, you know. Now the one thing I'm basically going to say is I actually wish I were you. Fucking shit. Honestly, I mean really. Anyway, so guys, now what happens here in Singapore when I'm wearing this sort of attire and speaking like this, people generally think I'm either a banker or a lawyer. But once I start to talk like this, everything starts to change really, especially when I'm over there in the MRT station. And if I need to ask some random stranger a very simple question like which way is the toilet or which way is the ATM, which way is the exit B, you know, that kind of thing. I look for someone in the crowd I can ask the question to. Then I go to him and ask him, excuse me sir, can I ask you a simple question? Immediately he say to me, got insurance already. I say, yeah, I'm not selling insurance. Got credit card already. But you know, ladies and gentlemen, there happen to be times that I am wearing this kind of attire and I happen to be wearing a coat on top of it, you know. And I am speaking with a very, very loud voice with this kind of accent in the middle of a hotel lobby. What happens is as soon as I stop talking, everyone in the hotel lobby starts to call me to give me their order. I'm sure you're all familiar with this very famous place here in Singapore. It is now a major landmark of the modern Singapore. It's basically this one, the 3 buildings and the half of a hot dog on top of it, you know. The one everyone knows is MBS, okay. There is now, if you noticed, okay, there are many people who are working there, okay, they have this accent also. So there is now a new meaning for MBS. It is now known as Manila Bay Sands. Pues amigas y amigos, la verdad es que yo soy de un país que tiene muchos problemas económicos y es por eso que tenemos que reformar la Constitución y hacer muchas cosas, ¿no? Pues, ladies and gentlemen, you don't really need to know what I'm saying, no? The fact of the matter is, it just sounds very sexy, no? Yes, of course, this is the very famous accent of this famous tennis player, no? This guy who does very well on the clay court, no? For many years he was doing very well. For some reason he's not doing very well now. But he is also very well known for one other thing. On global television, he's always having a wedgie all the time. No? Who is this guy I'm talking about? You know? Rafael Nadal, yes. Anyway, basically, over here in Singapore, you know, there's a lot of people who generally speak like this. Now, if I hypothetically speaking, had blonde hair, blue eyes, and pale skin, and I was speaking just like this, a lot of people generally think I'm a fucking racist. Anyway, guys, so, you know, I obviously like languages and accents, right? So one of the things I'm going to say is I've noticed that there are so many of these different languages and accents, and they have what you would call a stereotypical sound. Okay, what's a stereotypical sound? That's the sound you think you're hearing when someone with a distinct accent is talking. Like, for example, Americans kind of sound like they're always stereotypically saying, wang, 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 wang. Oh, hey, man, oh, what's going on? Oh, that over there is the John Hancock building. It's got this big mouth, yeah, man, oh, yeah, wang, 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 you know? That's why they call it an American twang, right? But for the case of the French, huh? Are there any French people here? Où sont les Français? Est-ce qu'il y a de Français ici? Ouais, alors, for the case of the French, hein? The stereotypical sound of French is Oui, alors je vais vous dire que je m'appelle Jean Valjean, mais je ne rappelle pas ce soir. If you are very familiar with this famous novel by Victor Hugo, the one which later became a musical and it later became a movie which was starring 2 Australian actors. The 2 Australian actors we are talking about are Russell Crowe and Wolverine. Of course, we are talking about Les Misérables. Huh? The two main characters of the movie, their names are also The hero of the story, his name is Jean Valjean. And his arch enemy, the inspector who was chasing him for a long time, his name is Javert. Jean Valjean, Javert. But the thing I don't understand, ladies and gentlemen, is why everyone thinks that the stereotypical sound of Chinese is ching chong chang. Ching chong chang, chang ching chong.
Why does everybody think that Chinese sound like that? Because actually, if you think about it, if you go to China, especially if you go to Beijing, what you are going to hear is not Ching Chong Chang, because actually Chinese sound more like 我也不知道为什么是个特别好的事情。如果你发现有任何袭击可疑人物或任何遗留在车厢的可疑物品，请通知我们的支援。Obviously, you don't go to the MRT.
Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, I've had a lot of friends who are basically telling me, hey man, Ryan, you do all these languages and accents and stuff, man. You should change your day job. You shouldn't be in IT. You should actually be an international spy, man. That's what they're all telling me. You should have been an international spy, man. Yes, of course, yeah, I should have been an international spy. I should have been an international spy. Nothing like Edward Snowden. Nothing like that. The guy's a wimp. I should have been an international spy. I should have been a secret agent just like James Bond. But unfortunately, I come from a very, very poor country. And a very, very poor country cannot afford to have a spy program. So what happens is, instead of becoming a secret agent, the people from my very, very poor country, they become those who can change their accent and speak different languages. They become a call center agent instead. So anyway, what I didn't really understand is why everyone thinks that James Bond is supposed to sound like this, Everyone thinks that James Bond is supposed to sound like the King or the Queen of England, speaking with a posh British English accent from the southern parts of England. Because actually, if you think about it, ladies and gentlemen, James Bond is actually from Scotland. He's from a place called Skyfall in Scotland. So if you actually think about it, James Bond is not supposed to sound like the King or the Queen of England. James Bond is actually supposed to sound a bit more like Shrek. Okay, guys, so my name is Orion, and I've been here in Singapore for some time. And one of the things that really got me was the fact that I needed to pick up the local language here, Singlish, okay? And does anybody not know what Singlish is all about? Okay. I burped, sorry. Those of you who don't know what Singlish is all about, it's pretty simple. It's not exactly like English, okay? It's kind of different. If you're an Aussie guy, you go to the bar and try to order for a beer. I might want to get a can of Target Bay, please. And the barman will say, sorry sir, cannot, bottle can. And if you don't understand what Singlish is all about, you won't know what the hell he was saying, right? So let me teach you some of the rules for understanding how Singlish works. Okay, it's pretty simple. Rule number one for Singlish, Singlish does not have any past tense. Okay? You do not say, he went there yesterday. No? You say, yesterday he go there already. That's how you get the girls, huh? Secret, huh? Come on, man. Rule number two. You gotta understand that Singlish requires you to speak with a particularly distinct up and down zigzag tone. You know, goes like this. No, 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 no. What's happened? What happened? He told me he needed to go home already. He said to me, need to go back already lah. It's true, right? It's true. One thing you have to understand is there's not just one kind of Singlish, okay? There's generally two kinds of Singlish. There's a socio-economic dichotomy, you know, stratification, rich versus poor, masses versus the elites. You know, the masses, they speak with a higher pitched voice. They're often called the Heartlanders. Heartlander. They have a higher pitched voice. It goes like this. Hey, what you want? You want a chicken rice? Steam or roasted? But you go all the way to Shenton Way, not far from here, where all the banks and financial institutions are, where many of the elites studied abroad and they come back and they have this different kind of accent and they speak like this. Actually, I think it's very important for us to follow the procedure properly. Otherwise, we will not get our ISO certification. It's true, right? It's true. One thing you gotta understand, guys, is here in Singapore, it's a meritocracy, right? So you have to prove that you earned your position, you earned your place, that you are smart, that you work hard. You gotta show that you are smart and you know your stuff, right? So, to get ahead in Singapore, you gotta use certain words. Certain words like, actually. Words that make you sound very smart. Huh? You say the word actually, everyone think you're a genius. Actually 2 plus 2 equals 4. Everyone believe you. The problem is that everyone is already saying actually. Everybody here in Singapore saying actually. So how do you make yourself different? How you set yourself apart? How you make yourself a cut above the rest? You use a different word. Okay? I'll give you a tip. You use the word essentially. Everyone think you're like Einstein when you say that. Essentially, E equals MC squared. Wow, everyone thinks you're very, very smart. Anyway, guys, so one thing that's really important for you to understand about being here in Singapore is if you speak to the janitor with perfect grammatical Queen's English all the time, you might get into trouble, you know? Like many people from the subcontinent who speak very, very good, perfect, polished Queen's English. When they come here, they speak with the janitor. Excuse me, sir, is it totally possible for you to tell me which way the toilet is? Huh? Janitor doesn't understand, right? Because the right way for him to speak to the janitor is to say, hey, uncle, toilet, where? Because, ladies and gentlemen, there is a one-to-one correspondence, a mapping between perfect grammatical Queen's English and Singlish. Let me give you some examples. Example number 1. Why don't you honor your commitments? You say you do, you never do. You say you come, you never come. Why? It's true, right? It's true. Example number 2. Oh, I'm so famished, I don't know what I'm going to do. What do I find something to eat? Hungry, go where? Example number 3. Example number 3. This is something you're going to hear among friends who are having a bit of a fight, you know, a lover's quarrel or whatever. People who know each other are having a bit of an argument. You know, what's wrong with you? Why are you so like that? And last but not the least, ladies and gentlemen, this is something you're going to hear in the office. And chances are you've said this yourself. What are we going to do now? So how? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. That was my time. My name is Orion Perez. Thank you.
folks. Please make some noise for Mr. Orion Perez.